Phil, thank you very much for joining me today, and we're obviously here at the stadium to talk about the achievement you've just completed, a 1,000-mile walk for the Solihull Moors Foundation. How do you feel that was done?
I feel great, actually. I feel great it's all done, but being obviously finishing in September, I wish it had longer, to be honest. I mean, but next year obviously I'm going to do it again, but I'm going to definitely do more miles next year, because it has been difficult, but I can do more.
So let's talk about the walk as a whole, 1,000 miles. It sounds pretty, not simple, but it's just one number, and you can break that down into how many hours you've walked per day, per month. Just talk about the stats.
Yeah, so I interestingly did the stats the other week actually, and I was working out all the numbers, and that's basically 154 walks over 6 months. Catching COVID and having obviously a few weeks off, not being able to finish on the time that I wanted to finish, and we worked it out with all the social media posting and with all the sponsorship requests and all the different walks. It's nearly 1,500 hours. So you don't realise that if you work 40 hours a week in your job, 1,500 hours is quite a lot really.
And impressive numbers, but let's talk about the walks themselves. Were there moments where you thought, oh, I don't know if I can do this, or was it always motivation to do it?
About 500 miles, I think. Actually, getting across the 500 miles mark was the one. There was times when I was at like 300 miles and 350 miles, and I thought the numbers just aren't going down. And I was thinking, I'll do another 6-mile walk, and I'll do another 10-mile walk, and the numbers were just static. And I think what helped me really is all the people around me. I've walked with so many people, and when you walk with people, if I did it on my own, I don't think I could have done it. But when I've walked with so many different people, you become accountable, and you have to do it. It's sort of like you arrange your walk and said, right then, turn up on Saturday at 10 o'clock at the Wire Forest, we're going to do a 10-mile walk. Because I'm the organiser, I have to be there. There's no turning around and saying I can't go this week, and that's probably one of the reasons why I was the arranger of all the walks, because I'm part of Ramblers, and if I'd have just turned up for one of their walks, it would have been easy for me to say it's raining today, so I'm not coming. But when it was raining and I didn't want to walk, I was the organiser. So even though I sat at home in the morning at 8 o'clock thinking I really don't want to go, and there was one particular person who's walked with me who's lovely. Her name is Nora, and she pushed me a lot, and she doesn't realise it, and it's obviously her seeing this recording, it could be the first time she sees me even mention her, but she's been really, really good to me, because she would walk in rain or shine. And there's me sitting at home thinking, oh my God, it's raining, I'm not going to walk today. I think, well, Nora's going to turn up, so I've got to. And if you look on the hashtag BASY1000, you'll see there's some videos of me and Nora walking, and we got so wet on the walk in Arley that I might as well just jumped in the river, because I would have been drier. It was so wet that day. And I've done some of the walks I've done. I mean, I think we at the last count, I think I'd taken over about 4,000 photos this year. So it's a lot of photos to go through, and they're all on Facebook. We put them on that hashtag for people to see. But memories, that's what I'd say from this is, no one can take this away from me. And this, it's been a really, really good year. I've seen some fantastic places, met some really, really good people, and selfishly, I've really enjoyed it.
How far did the walks take you? Obviously there's 154 of them, and I presume that all of them are the same route, so you have to plan them. That's difficult in itself, isn't it? Yeah,
so I get an OS map out, so I'm quite used to planning routes. So I get an OS map out on the computer, and I just draw routes. And do you know what? They weren't always right. We come to some routes, and I thought there was a walking path there, and it wasn't there. Obviously, basically the paths get taken up sometimes, or they get overgrown with nettles, so you have to replan on the walk. So sometimes I got out for a 10-mile walk, and someone had blocked up the path, so you'd end up a 15-mile walk, because you've got to do a massive detour to get round the blockage, and you end up like you go around a big circle like this to get back to where you first came, just to get back on the route. So planning the walks has been really, really good. So we've been out as far as, we've been to Ledbury, we've been to Rutland, we've been all over, all around, mainly Midlandsy, no more than 2 hours away from where we are now. The last walk was supposed to be the 4 waterfalls, so I went on the Friday, when I did a flow test, because I was staying with people, I had 3 miles left. I was at 997 miles, I had 3 miles left only, and Claire, my other half, said, well, you've got to do a flow test. You know, you're going to stay, you're camping with, you know, about 13, 14 people. It's only fair that you test yourself before going and spend some time with them. So I did a flow test, and it was positive, so I couldn't go. The rest of them all went. I spoke to them on the phone, and they all went. But being the walk leader, none of them were really walk leaders. So I had to sort of, apart from Nora's very, very good at walks. She'd done a lot of walks with me. I'd say Nora and Dean are the two that have done most walks with me. And she turned up on the day, and they've done the walks and they've taken all the photos. But I never got to do that walk, and that was the Brecon 4 waterfalls was the walk that I really was looking forward to. And ending it there would have been awesome. We had Radio WM waiting for us and everything, and luckily what I'd done is I'd set up another walk for a couple of weeks' time, like a celebration walk to say thank you to everybody, and that became the 1,000th mile walk, which was the heart of England Forest. But I think the best walk I did was Ledbury and Eastner Castle. It's fantastic. Anyone ever wants to go walking, get that route out. It's good.
I was going to mention what was your favourite walk, and I guess you mentioned it there, but talk about some of the other sites you saw. What peculiar things did you see out there?
Mostly, I'd say just old buildings that I just stood there, and my hatred towards cows. I hate cows. And I didn't used to. When I used to walk before, you know, I've been walking for years, but I'd never really done this amount of miles. I didn't realise how friendly or not friendly, but how inquisitive they are. And sometimes inquisitiveness can be classed as aggression, I suppose. And there was a walk with me and Anna, and we walked out in Henley, and we were walking through this field, and down the bottom of this field there was like a load of cows all lying down. We think it's going to rain or whatever, and Anna comes from Spain, and she got a bit nervous because she thought there were bulls. And anyway, we started walking across, got halfway across this field. This field must have been, got to be 3/4 of a mile wide, and we got halfway, and they started stampeding, and they started running at us. And me and Anna, I've never ever ran so fast in my life to get away from these. And there were male bulls, there were young bulls in the field. Obviously, for some reason, they put bulls in the field. It's not normally meant to happen. But we had these bulls, and then I literally got scared of cows. For all my walks then, I would never get in the field with cows, and that was interesting. But now, in the last 100 miles, I've got myself sorted, got my head straight, and I actually go in the field now with cows, and I stroke them, and they're fine now.
So as you go through the miles and tick them off, are there any milestones that you look at and think, let me get to that one, this one could be a big one, I can push through that one, that barrier as such?
So with the company, Walk 1,000 Miles, who we did this with, it's like a challenge they put together through, I think it's through the Walking Life magazine. Basically, I think because they set a goal every 50 miles, and you basically, they send you every 50 miles, you've done 650, you've done 700, you've done 750, you've done 800. I think them little goal things, it means that it's not so far to the next target, and that is so important when you're doing a virtual walk. So this walk was basically Land's End to John O'Groats, but the long way, because obviously the short way I think is about 780 miles, but what they do, they weave in and out, and at one point it went through Birmingham on the virtual walk. It went through Moseley Village, and I remember myself thinking, oh my god, I'm actually in Moseley, and that was about 480 miles, thinking, oh my god, there's a lot more to go. But yeah, I think the fact that they help you a lot with the targets, with every 50 mile, it was really useful.
And just remind us again why you've done this and why for the Solihull Moors Foundation.
Well, I did the walk selfishly. I did the walk for myself because I like walking, and I thought it's really, really good for fitness and getting outside, especially with COVID. And I think we've all been a bit sat on the sofas watching TV and box sets and too much chocolate and too much of things we shouldn't have really. So getting out and doing the air. Now, the reason I did it for Solihull Moors is obviously my association with Becky, and obviously Becky's done a lot with my children. And in the past, obviously my children are both autistic, and I believe that Solihull Moors do work with the autistic kids and disabled kids and less privileged kids really. So hopefully any money that's raised will help obviously support that more.
Yeah. And the important thing is that the Just Giving page is still open and people can donate.
Yes, yeah, the Just Giving page will be open to the end of the year, hopefully, and obviously people can still donate, and I'd love it if they would, because if they realise how much work goes into this and how many hours and how much planning goes into it, just a couple of quid would be awesome. It'd obviously help the charity.
And just finally, what's next for you? Are you going to get your walking boots back on? And I know you've got a little arrival coming soon as well.
Yeah, so I'm going to be a dad again in December the 2nd. The baby bump is due. We had our 4D scan yesterday, so we still don't know the sex of it, because we want to surprise, me and Claire do. So looking forward to that surprise. But I believe that Becky's got a walk planned for Christmas. We're going to do some sort of things together, so hopefully we're going to put something together for that, and maybe, you know, set up another Just Giving page or Virgin Giving page or whatever there is out there, just to do raise some more money for the funds for the charity. And next year I'm going to do, like I said, next year I'm going to do another walk, but it's going to be a lot more. And hopefully with the walking group that I'm in, we might even do something like a group walk of 5,000 miles or something like that, and get everyone involved rather than just being me. So that'll be a challenge, getting everyone involved.
And just one final question.
Yeah, of course.
It's important, isn't it, to get out there mentally and physically,
yes,
for all our supporters, and just to feel good about yourself and get those miles into the tank.
Yeah, I'd say, do you know what? Get out there and enjoy. The world is bigger than your area. The world is bigger than going from your house to the pub and back, or to the football stadium and back. You know, there's some beautiful stuff out there, old mills. There's even stamping in mud when you're in that mud and you're thinking, oh, I can't stand mud anymore. Do you know what? When you go back home and you have that beer or that glass of whiskey or whatever you want that day, and you sit on there and your feet are hurting and aching and you think, oh my God, I didn't enjoy that. Do you know what? You've done it. At the end of the day, you've done that, and you've got that experience. And when you look back in, you know, it's now 2021. One of the walks I did recently, well, not so long ago, was 8 years ago, was the Sahara Trek, and I hated it because of sand. I don't like sand. And you know, but now I can look back now, 8 years later, at those photos that was taken on that day, and that's a memory, and that's what we're creating. We're creating memories.
Phil, thank you very much, and once again, well done on completing the 1,000 mile challenge.
Well, thank you very much.